Just a year ago, this very BMW was left rotting in a car graveyard.
And after 4 years of it only doing 600 miles, I took on the challenge of bringing it back to its former glory.
Will it start?
So far, we've done a few mechanical fixes, sorted the rust, and began to modify it.
But now I've got myself a new unit and I'm working with amazing brands such as eBay. And I'll be using eBay's Assured Fit to help me find the correct parts so we can finally make some good progress with it. And if you've been watching the channel for a while, you would have seen that I've used eBay for years and years and years for products for all my projects. And down here are some products we're going to use today.
eBay Assured Fit makes finding parts for your car super easy. Simply enter your registration, search for the parts you need, and it will automatically show the correct parts that will fit. And if you have any issues, eBay offer a 30-day money-back guarantee, giving you that peace of mind. And I've picked up myself a load of parts, so let's get them fitted.
Right, so the first thing we're going to fit and replace are the front wings, because this one is, well, it's bubbling a little bit, but nowhere near as bad as this one over here. Come around here, this one has seen better days, and it's already had a repair by the looks of it, because it's full of filler and it is crusty, and look, you could just, yeah, it's pretty gone. And because it's already been repaired in the past, it's probably best to swap out.
So the first thing we need to do is get the car safely up in the air on some axle stands. With the car up in the air, it's time to remove some plastics and some trims, and I'll explain why in a second. And with them all removed, it's time to remove the headlights, and these are held in with 4 8mm screws. And then the indicators just unclip.
And not only are we changing the wings, we're also changing the nose cone and a few other bits on the front a little bit later on, so it makes sense to just take it all off before you can put the new parts back on. I just love how easy these cars are to take apart. 4 bolts and the bumper's off.
And these are some 13mm nuts, super easy to remove. And it seems that most of the front end is just held in with some 8mm screws. However, being such an old car, most of these were either rounded or just completely rotten.
That wasn't good. Brilliant. That is the joys of working on old cars. Snap bolts. Nope.
Oh dear.
No.
Now, being an older car, bolts are bound to snap or round. So the only way to remove this bolt was to drill it out, and unfortunately I tried and tried and tried, but this drill bit just wasn't going to cut it. So I then moved on and tried to tackle some of the other rounded bolts. And with having absolutely no luck at all, I pulled out the angle grinder.
So I don't know if I'm just being really stupid, but I don't think we are. But these wings don't come off unless the bonnet's off. Like, you screw through the bonnet latch into the wing. Surely you'd have to take a bonnet off to remove wings.
But finally, the wings were off and the whole front end was stripped.
So now the old one is off, and I definitely think it was due a replacement. It didn't even look this bad on the outside, but yeah, it's pretty rotten, and down here, it's not looking too healthy. So we've got the brand new one here from eBay. Let's get it on the car.
I definitely think this was overdue a replacement. This thing is rotten. Installing the new wings was fairly simple, it's just the same process, just in reverse. And I used some new nuts and bolts and had to transfer some of the clips over onto the new one.
Cool, so the first one is now fitted, and it's actually aligned pretty well. Like, for a first fit, I'm pretty happy with that. I'm not too worried exactly how it fits because I'm gonna have this off again anyway when I get it painted. So for now it looks all right, but I can't put this back on because the trim that normally sits here, like that, is completely rotten. That is literally the story of this car, but that's fine. I'll buy a brand new one and then it can go on once it's painted.
With the wings fitted, it's now on with the fresh nose cone. And if you are enjoying this video so far, make sure you leave a like on the video and also subscribe if you're new. We've got so much more content coming now we've got this cool unit. And trust me, we're only just getting started.
But it's so good to finally get rid of these horrible rusty parts. I mean, that you can actually see underneath here where I hit that car, the sort of kink in it. And yeah, it's all rusty and just not good at all. So they're good for the bin. Okay, we're getting somewhere. The car is finally back down on the floor and looking like a car again. Apart from there's no headlights, but we're going to do some more styling features to the front of the car a little bit later on. And for now, just ignore some of the panel gaps. I haven't spent any sort of time trying to get it looking perfect. And that is because very soon we're going to be taking it all off again to do more modifications and also get the panels painted.
And one last thing I forgot to do is add the side repeaters, which of course I got from eBay.
So in a recent episode, we worked on this boot and got rid of all of the rust and put like a new seal in, we put new lights in, and just cleaned it all up because it was pretty hanging. So my plan with the boot is to use what I've got and try and make my own sort of boot build. I'm going to give it a go, see what it's like and see what you guys think as well. So when the car was sat, it was full of all the old parts and I think I'm missing some of them, but I do have most of the sort of boot carpets and that. And to be fair, they're not in the best of state. They're also sort of, they got wet and they're just, yeah, not good. But luckily the side carpets are in good shape, so we're going to reuse those. So I'm thinking of making a plywood boot floor using the original floor as a sort of a template and also getting some measurements and seeing if I can make this actually look alright. So what I was thinking of doing is having a main board here with a cut halfway along with some hinges so you can lift it up with a flap, and then over here have a separate cutout for the battery, and I'll probably do one over there as well just so it's sort of matching and looks tidy. And then for the sides we can hopefully use the original carpet. I haven't quite worked out what I want to do back there yet, but we'll get to that when we get to that.
Before we do anything, I need to get the wiring sorted because it's like spaghetti, it's all over the place. Now with this boot build, I want to keep it sort of OEM plus, but also modernise it a little bit. So I'm going to turn the grey carpet into black by using some dye. I've never done this before, but I reckon it's going to look quite good. And after a few coats, the carpet's now dry so you can bring them back in and test fit them in the boot. Now because we've added that backboard to the boot, the carpets need a little bit of trimming to make them fit perfect. And that's them test fitted and it's already starting to look quite good. And now that I know they fit, we can take them out and start felting the boot.
Okay, I'm quite impressed with what I've done and it turned out so far better than expected. It's probably going to be hard to see this on camera, but so far it actually looks really good. Yeah, I'm happy with that.
And with that all done, it's time to add a few of the boot trims.
And that is all the trims in. You've got the side carpets, you've got the back which we refiltered, you've got this trim in nice and tight, and I used some of these cool clips, so that's in perfect. Then also I put in the tail light covers as well, so it's starting to look like a complete boot. All we need now is the floor.
Alright, let's go.
To make the boot floor, I used a combination of measuring the actual boot and also using the old carpet to try and make a template. It didn't quite fit first time, but after a couple of little adjustments, it fit perfect. And this felt I'm using is a very similar match to like the OEM carpet you get in BMWs. And to stick it down, I'm using some spray adhesive and then stapling it.
I'm busy trying to take you higher, got no time for never, only spending cheddar, wish I could do this forever. Chilling with the hottest company, they all wanna welcome me.
And if you ever do work like this yourselves, I highly recommend using cardboard. It's such a good way of making a template.
Ocean view from the highest peak, I'm complete, oh I want this to stay, please don't go away. Sunny days, no clouds in the sky, about to get away, feels like it's been a freaking decade, sorry don't call me cause I'm gonna be on break. Sunny days,
And the boot was pretty much complete, but everything was just going a little bit too well.
feels like it's been a freaking decade, sorry don't.
And yeah, I should have cut out a little pilot hole, that's a rookie mistake. So I ripped it off, drilled the hole, and then redid the whole thing. What a nightmare.
And boom, just like that, the boot is now all complete, and genuinely, I'm really impressed. And I've also got the added handle here so you can lift up that and use it for storage, and it's just a bit more practical. But yeah, loving that.
To make the boot floor sit down flush and not vibrate or rattle, I installed these small blocks of plywood covered in felt, and they seem to do the trick perfectly.
I genuinely think for the first time ever doing a boot build, I feel like I've done a good job, especially with the resources and everything I've got, and I sort of made do with the plywood and the felt that I had lying about, and I think it looks alright.
So E36s and also 46s, I believe, all suffer with potential cracking in the rear strut towers. And this is because they're not really that reinforced and the metal's quite thin and not that strong. And if you look on forums, you will see so many people install reinforcement plates, or alternatively, some people install strut braces to not only prevent that problem, but also add rigidity into the chassis. So whilst I was shopping around on eBay trying to find parts for this video, I also took advantage of their current 20% off deal on all tuning and styling parts. So I managed to grab this strut brace and some lights which I'm going to fit later on. If you want to check out the deal for yourself, I'll leave all the information and a link down below. Now make sure you're quick because the offer ends on the 15th of September.
So the boot is now completed and it genuinely looks really good, but now we're going to go ahead and fit these new bulbs. And also, I've always wanted to install some halos, so I'm going to install these into the headlights. I don't think it's a big job, but we'll see how it goes. But then I'm going to wire these to the ignition so they always turn on. So they're basically daytime running lights.
Installing halos on an E36 is actually quite an easy job. It's not like newer cars that have silicone to seal the lens. This just unclips. It's super simple. Once I had unclipped the main lens, I then had to separate the two separate lenses from that main lens and then stick the halos on the front of those lenses. And it looks a bit like this. And then they can go back into the main lens, and then I sealed the lens back up. Clip it all back together, and then I can finally install them back in the car. And the last job was to install the new bulbs, which are a fair bit wider than normal halogen bulbs, and they look quite good, but it doesn't really come across on camera.
And there we have it, that is two of the bulbs fitted, and they look so much better than the old yellow horrible ones. But unfortunately I haven't got time to fit the other bulbs or wire the halos because I do have to go home and edit this video. And there we have it, some pretty significant changes to the E36 and some really cool upgrades. So the plan I had with my cars was to use the Audi A5 as the daily. However, at the minute the Audi's run out of MOT and it's not going to pass the MOT, so in the next video we're going to get that all sorted, MOT'd and back on the road. But for now, this is my daily. Once the Audi's back on the road, it will properly allow me to get on with this and also the Lexus. But I think this video has proved to you guys that anyone can go on eBay, use eBay's assured fit and grab some parts for yourself knowing that they're going to fit. And worst case, if you have any issues, they offer a 30-day money back guarantee. But I hope you did enjoy today's video. If you did, make sure you leave a like, leave a comment and also subscribe, and I'll catch you guys very, very soon.
With eBay, you can find the right part at the right price, so make sure you check out the tuning and styling parts, and remember you get 20% off up until the 15th of September. All the information is down below.